What's up, guys? It's week 6 and now it's time to make our picks. Last week seemed to be a pretty normal and easygoing week, and I actually went 10-4 for last week, and that means I am now 39-38 on the season. Happy to say that I actually have a winning record for the season. Some interesting upsets as the Redskins beat the Ravens, and the Ravens are no longer undefeated. Brady, of course, comes back and does his thing, and they just blew out the Browns. But it was the Browns, so I'm not impressed just yet. Happy days for me as the Eagles lose to Detroit, as I picked Detroit last week. I was very happy about that. They win 24-23. The Dolphins still can't seem to get anything going at all as they lose to the Titans. The Broncos finally lose, and they are no longer undefeated, as I picked before last week. And surprisingly, the only team that's undefeated this season right now are the Vikings. They are now 5-0. And the Chargers are cursed. It's just, there's no way around it. They fumbled, I think it's like 3 times in the last 3 weeks. They just can't win at all. In all 4 of their losses, they were leading in this game. And they just they literally give the game away at the end. I still haven't given up on them yet, but I don't know. I feel pretty bad for Rivers right now. And for the Cowboys win very easily, actually. They put up a 28-0 lead, winning 28-14, with Elliott being the beast that he is, putting up over 100 yards for the 3rd game in a row, and Dak Prescott doing his thing as well. Somewhat of an upset on Monday night's game. The Buccaneers beat the Panthers 17-14 with the last second field goal. Even though the Buccaneers field goal kicker was struggling, he managed to put up a game-winning field goal at the end to beat the Panthers that did not have Cam Newton or Jonathan Stewart. Alright, time for our picks. First game of the week is the Broncos and the Chargers, which will be coming on today. Interesting fact for the game, Gary Kubiak will be out for the Broncos as their head coach. From what I heard last time, he was suffering from a complex migraine. As far as rankings go, it's not a surprise that the Chargers are ranked 4th in passing, all due to Philip Rivers being the great quarterback that he is. However, their team is just not all there. The Broncos have the Broncos have a 6th rated defense, which I think is better, but this one is going to be a tough one to pick. I know Trevor Siemian, from what I hear, is coming back, so he'll be there. Not that it really matters with that Chargers defense. They're pretty bad. There's a lot of time to think about it. Gary Kubiak's out, so the coaching matters as much as the players do. And it's going to be in San Diego. Not that it completely matters because they lose at home a lot, but it would be I would have to pick the Broncos if it was in Denver. But this week, I'm going to have to say the Chargers will do it. If they can't win this week, I don't know what to say for the rest of their season. And if they can't go 1-5, they want any hope of winning or even a chance to go to the playoffs, they need to win this game. As for the 49ers and Bills, Kaepernick is coming back for the 49ers as their starter. Do I think that's going to make a damn bit of difference? No, I do not. The Bills are ranked pretty high as far as fantasy goes in defense. They put up a lot each week. So I see the Bills winning this one at home, and I see the 49ers struggling. They're not gonna win this one. For the Jaguars and the Bears. The Bears. The Rams and the Lions. The Rams, surprisingly, I believe they're at the top of their division right now. Do I think that's going to continue? No, I don't think that's going to be the final result. And I actually think they're going to lose this week against the Lions. They did excellent against the Eagles last week, who are on a roll, but they shut them out, and they made their defense, I believe, is what won the game. 24-22 last week. I think they're going to do the same thing to the Rams this week. Next one is an easy one for me. It's the Steelers and the Dolphins. The Steelers are going to win this one. Not really hard to call. Dolphins, I can't trust right now. 1-4 on the season. They've been blowing every game. I thought they had the talent. They're not doing it right now. The Steelers are very hungry for their division. They are going to win. Look out for Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell in fantasy teams. If you have them, start them. Same with Big Ben and Antonio Brown. The Dolphins' defense isn't that great, and they do have a good defensive front, but Le'Veon Bell he's just a powerhouse. As far as Patriots and the Bengals go, I know Brady recently came back, so it's going to make a big difference, especially with Gronkowski. The Patriots have a very, very high-power offense with Brady and Gronkowski, and LeGarrette Blount. Look out for him. So all three of those guys, they're going to put up a lot this week. Panthers and Saints get two of their biggest guys back, Cam Newton and Jonathan Stewart. So yes, I see the Panthers winning this one. I know it's going to be in New Orleans, but the Panthers are on a downward slope. They're about to lose their season, so I think this game they need, and I think they're going to take it. Ravens and the Giants. The Ravens lost last week in a pretty bad game against the Redskins. So I see them winning this week against the Giants. The Giants are struggling. Eli is getting sacked constantly. He has 9 sacks on him on the season. He's fumbled. He's has 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He's not doing good. His team's not doing good. The Ravens take this one. As for the Browns and the Titans, for me it's an unwritten rule that I will never pick the Browns unless it's a team that's equally as bad as them, as far as the record goes and stats or whatever. They're bad enough to lose to a college team. And that's saying something. They're pretty bad. So, the Titans won this one with DeMarco Murray and Marcus Mariota putting up great numbers against the Browns defense that just lets teams just slide right past them. Eagles and Redskins. Now, I always have problems with these as far as they are divisional games, so they are much harder to pick, and they're going to be a lot tighter in the end. Most divisional games are this year, especially in the NFC East. They have about the same offense as far as rankings go. Defensively, about the same. Pretty sure the Eagles might be a little bit better, I'm not sure. But I'm going to go ahead and say the Redskins win, mainly because they're at home. The Redskins need this win. I know the Eagles just let their NFC East lead slip by, but I see the Redskins coming back and they're going to win this one at home. Chiefs and the Raiders. Jamal Charles for the Chiefs is expected to get a heavy workload this week as he is recovering from his injury. He hasn't been really doing that great in the last couple weeks, but they need to give it to him if they expect to win. They can't put it on Alex Smith. I've seen what Jamal Charles can do. He's won games before by himself, and I think he's going to do it again if they put him in. Cowboys and Packers. This is apparently the game of the week, and I can see it. Elliott has been doing amazing. The Cowboys have the best ranked rushing offense so far. They have the second ranked offense in general. They are just doing amazing offensively. I don't expect anything short of over 20 points. I know it's the Packers. I know they're a lot tougher. I see it being very high scoring because Aaron Rodgers is very good. I see him connecting Jordy Nelson once and even twice maybe. Hopefully not. Morris Claiborne has been doing excellent. He's been actually doing excellent on defense. Last couple of years he hasn't been as good, but I think he is actually at his strongest. It could be argued that he's becoming one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are mad that I'm saying that, with Richard Sherman, Patrick Peterson, Josh Norman, whatever. But Mo Claiborne is doing great. He's been shutting up. Last week with AJ Green, I think he only let him have 50 yards and a couple catches. I mean, seriously. So this one's going to be a close one. Our defense is doing excellent. Dak has been doing great. He's been protecting the ball. Elliott, he's just been a beast. So yes, I see the Cowboys winning this one. Falcons and Seahawks. This is a very interesting game as the Falcons are their number 1 offense in the league right now. As far as rushing and passing goes, but mainly because their passing offense is number one. And the Seahawks are number one in defense. So this is number one versus number one on both sides of the ball. And it's in Seattle, so that makes it a little bit different. Seattle's a tough crowd to go against. Last week, Julio Jones didn't do too much against the Broncos defense, who was excellent. I expect to see Richard Sherman on Julio Jones a lot, but Julio Jones is a big dude, so he's going to get his catches, and I think he's probably going to get a touchdown. Probably just one. It is Richard Sherman after all. The Falcons, if they're going to win this, they're going to need some other components on their offense, such as their running game. So it can't be all on Matt Ryan, and the defense of the Falcons is going to have to step up as well. So yes, the Falcons will win. They will go 5-1. For the Colts and Texans game, it's in Houston. Doesn't really make a big difference to me. Houston struggles a lot. Their defense isn't as great as they were. Yes, I know one player doesn't make the team, but J.J. Watt's a big difference. The Colts with Andrew Luck is pretty good. T.Y. Hilton, start him on your fantasy team. He's been putting up 20 points for the past couple weeks. He did it against the Chargers and did it last week. He probably will do it again. He will shred the Houston defense. For the Jets and the Cardinals, I don't even know really what to say about them with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't know if they're going to start a new quarterback anytime soon. He's just not doing that great. So don't start Fitzpatrick. I was right before. He threw 6, then he threw 3 interceptions. Don't start him. Don't do that to yourselves. Get another quarterback. Okay? Start David Johnson for the Cardinals. He has been putting up amazing numbers, probably over 20 points fantasy-wise. He's going to be their big difference. I also think Josh Brown, even though he only put up 1 point last week, with just 1 catch, I think he'll do a lot better this week, as the Jets really don't have a good passing defense, or a good rushing defense, or a good offense. They're just not good. So, pick the Cardinals. That's my pick. Alright everyone, that is it for this week's picks. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and comment below and tell me what you think. Alright, take care everyone.